Beloved chosen one, something big is happening around you, and deep down you already feel it. This is not ordinary pressure. This is not random disruption. This is not one more confusing season sent to wear down your heart. This is divine movement. Heaven is touching the edges of your life, shifting what looked stable, unsettling what felt familiar, and drawing your attention toward the very thing you were about to overlook. You are not being punished. You are being awakened. There is a difference. Punishment crushes without purpose, but awakening shakes you so you can see. And right now, your spirit is being summoned to notice what your natural eyes almost missed. You have been wondering why certain doors feel strange, why conversations have changed, why your peace has become more selective, why your soul no longer fits inside places that once held you comfortably. It is because the season is turning. What carried you before cannot carry you where you are being led now. God is not removing your comfort to harm you. He is removing your dependence on what was never meant to define you. The interruption in your routine is holy. The delay is speaking. The silence is not empty. It is loaded with instruction. As Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 12, verse 32, "Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom." Take that into your spirit, not fear, not panic, not suspicion, the Father's good pleasure. That means what is approaching your life is not built first on your striving, but on His intention. Before you were ready, He was willing. Before you understood the signs, He had already written the moment. Before your enemies guessed your next step, heaven had already marked your name on an assignment they cannot cancel. This is why your discernment has been sharpening. This is why ordinary things suddenly feel weighty. This is why you cannot laugh off certain warnings anymore. You are standing too close to purpose to keep living casually. So do not dismiss this stirring. Do not call it overthinking. Do not label it emotion. There is a holy rearrangement taking place. And your obedience in this hour matters more than your comfort. Even the unease you feel is serving you because it is pulling you out of numbness. You are being prepared to recognize the hand of God in real time. And when you sense that this message meets you exactly where you are, receive it fully. Let it strengthen your faith. And in that same spirit, support this message with a like, a share, your subscription, or even a simple donation if your heart is led. Because every act of agreement helps this word reach another life on the edge of breakthrough. Your name is on this moment, not by accident, not by emotion, by design. Comment 214 if you are ready to receive what God is unfolding. What you carried was never meaningless. The nights that stretched longer than your strength. The betrayals that taught you silence. The disappointments that stripped away illusion. The prayers that seemed to rise into stillness without an immediate answer. None of it was wasted. You thought you were merely surviving pain, but all along, you were being trained inside it. God was building endurance where others only saw exhaustion. He was forming discernment where others only saw your caution. He was teaching your hands how to hold pressure without breaking, and your spirit how to remain standing when everything around you tried to bend your identity out of shape. This is why your journey has felt heavier than the journeys of many around you. You were not being singled out for destruction. You were being separated for preparation. Some people are shaped by comfort, but you are being shaped by fire. Some are allowed to grow slowly in ease, but you are being called into a weight that requires a stronger foundation. The tears you hid, the confusion you endured, the loneliness you could not explain. All of it has been part of a deeper work. You were learning what cannot be learned in shallow waters. You were being introduced to the kind of strength that does not make noise, yet can outlast storms. The reason certain losses cut so deeply is because they broke your agreement with lesser things. You had to see what people could not save. You had to discover what applause could not heal. You had to feel the emptiness of counterfeit support so that when God began to move, you would no longer confuse his hand with temporary relief. What looked like removal was often protection. What felt like delay was often alignment. And what seemed like unbearable pressure was producing a capacity in you that your future assignment will require. The Apostle Paul wrote in the letter to the Romans in chapter 8, verse 18, "For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us." That is not a denial of suffering. It is a revelation of proportion. The pain was real, but it was not final. The battle was fierce, but it was not greater than the glory being formed within you. What is coming is not simply a reward after hardship. It is the unveiling of what hardship was shaping. You are not emerging empty-handed. You are coming out with vision, depth, resilience, and a spiritual maturity that could not have been given to you through comfort alone. So when you look back now, do not only remember what hurt you, remember what it built. The weight you carried was preparation. The fire did not erase you. It revealed you. Now the urgency becomes sharper, because this is the point where many people lose what was meant to lift them. Not because God failed to speak, but because they kept postponing their response. Delay can look harmless when it first enters your life. It dresses itself like caution. It disguises itself as needing a little more time, a little more confirmation, a little more comfort before obedience begins. But there are moments when hesitation stops being wisdom and starts becoming resistance. And you can feel that truth pressing on you now. This is not the hour to sleep through your own turning point. You have already seen enough to know that something is shifting. The old patterns are breaking their grip. The distractions that once entertained you no longer satisfy your spirit. The places that once felt secure now feel too small for what is awakening inside you. That is not confusion. That is separation. God is making it difficult for you to remain attached to what cannot follow you forward. And yet, even in this holy separation, you must choose. Heaven may open the door, but you still have to walk through it. The warning is not meant to frighten you into despair. It is meant to shake you free from passive living. The danger in this hour is not always open rebellion. Sometimes it is slow neglect. Sometimes it is acting as though tomorrow will carry the same grace as today. Sometimes it is assuming that because God has been merciful, the moment will wait until you feel more ready. But some windows are seasonal. Some instructions lose their force when ignored too long. Some blessings are tied to timely movement. You are not hearing this because you are abandoned. You are hearing this because you are being alerted. God warns what he intends to preserve. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Joel, chapter 2, verse 12. "Therefore also now, saith the Lord, turn ye even to me with all your heart." Notice those words, even now. That means the door is still open, the call is still active, mercy is still speaking. But it also means this is the time to stop dividing your heart between obedience and delay. You cannot keep one foot in fear and one foot in calling and expect peace to remain. The crossroads before you demands wholeness. Your yes must become clearer than your excuses. Your hunger must become stronger than your hesitation. So let this be the line in the sand. Let this be the moment you stop negotiating with the very thing God told you to release. Comment, "I turn now," as your sign that delay will not rule this season. Because what God is unfolding over your life deserves a full answer, not a half-hearted maybe. By now, what once felt like a vague stirring is becoming unmistakable. The pattern is too precise to ignore. The timing is too exact to dismiss. The doors that closed, the doors that opened, the words you heard at unexpected moments, the unrest that would not leave you alone, the repeated pull toward deeper alignment. All of it is forming a message with your name written across it. This is not a general wind blowing in every direction. This is a targeted summons. God is not sending random noise into your life. He is making your assignment visible. That is why certain confirmations have arrived in layers instead of all at once. If everything had been shown to you at the beginning, you might have admired it without stepping into it. So heaven has been revealing this calling with wisdom, piece by piece. Enough to move you forward, enough to awaken your spirit, enough to make your excuses weaker each time the signal returns. What you thought were disconnected details are becoming one clear thread. The burden you carry, the compassion you feel, the battles you keep surviving, the truth you cannot silence, the territory that keeps drawing your attention. These are not accidents. They are clues. Your assignment is not proven merely by what you want. It is often confirmed by what continues to pursue you, even when you try to look away. There are people who can ignore their purpose and feel little disturbance, but you are not built that way. When you drift too far from what God marked for you, your peace becomes thin, your spirit becomes restless. What others can treat casually, you cannot. That difference is not weakness. It is evidence. You have been claimed for something weightier than comfort. The Word of God declares in the book of Esther, chapter 4, verse 14, "And who knoweth whether thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this?" There is a holy sharpness in that question. Such a time as this. Not another era, not another version of your life. This one. The season you are standing in carries a demand that matches what has been formed inside you. The experiences that seemed scattered were actually arranging you for relevance in this very hour. The pain gave you language. The waiting gave you depth. The losses taught you what cannot be trusted. The hidden years rooted you in something stronger than applause. You were not delayed from purpose. You were being fitted for it. So when the signs intensify, do not reduce them to coincidence. When the burden grows clearer, do not call it imagination. When the same assignment keeps returning to your heart, recognize the mercy in that repetition. God is not confusing you. He is confirming you. Your name is written in this moment. And the reason the call feels so personal is because it is. What is unfolding is not merely near you. It is for you. And now you arrive at the threshold where everything begins to move with greater clarity. What once felt hidden starts stepping into the light. What once seemed delayed begins revealing its timing. What once looked like pressure without meaning now shows itself as the final shaping before release. This is the hour when you stop merely sensing the change and begin walking in it. You are not standing in front of a small adjustment. You are standing in front of irreversible change. The kind that alters how you think, how you choose, how you discern, how you pray, and how you carry your calling from this day forward. This is why the warfare intensified before the unveiling. Darkness often trembles loudest when it realizes it cannot stop what God has ordained. The confusion, the fatigue, the emotional resistance, the strange heaviness that tried to sit on your spirit, none of it was random. It was pressure sent against your becoming. But it did not win. You are still here. You are still listening. You are still turning toward the voice of God. That means the assignment is alive, and the oil over your life has not dried up. The very fact that you survived what was meant to silence you is proof that heaven has preserved you for more. You do not step into this next phase as the version of yourself that first entered the battle. You step in changed, sharper, humbler, stronger, less impressed by appearances, less seduced by shortcuts, more anchored in truth, more aware of what peace feels like when it comes from obedience. God is not only giving you a new opportunity, He is revealing a new stature within you. The person emerging now has been forged through prayer, pressure, correction, and mercy. And because this work is deeper than emotion, it will last longer than a moment of inspiration. The ancient words recorded in 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 17. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. This is the turning. Not because all struggle disappears at once, but because you now understand what the struggle was producing. Glory has been gaining weight in you. Purpose has been taking shape in you. Authority has been maturing in you. And what carries your name in this season will not be denied forever. The door God opens through obedience, discernment, and endurance cannot be shut by fear. So stand up in your spirit and receive the shift without apology. Let your faith agree with what heaven has already declared. Let your next step honor the God who kept you through every shadowed valley of preparation. And if this word confirms that you are ready to move with boldness into what has your name on it, comment 608 below as your prophetic sign that you are not shrinking back from the change that has already begun. As this message settles into your spirit, do not let it drift away like rain falling on closed ground. Let it sink deep, like living water finding the roots that have been thirsty for far too long. If this word reached a place in you that only heaven could touch, let your light be a candle set in the window, a quiet sign that the light has found a home here. Let your share become a loaf broken and passed along, so another hungry soul may taste hope at the very moment they need it most. Let your comment be like placing your name on a stone of remembrance, a testimony that heaven met you here. Let your subscribe be the choice to keep walking this sacred path together. And if love moves your heart, let your donate be oil poured into the lamp, so this flame keeps burning for others still searching in the night.